What is going on, people of YouTube? My name has to be Kurtyoy, and welcome back to another podcast. I didn't upload one last week because the audio ballsed up, and there was about, I think it was 3 minutes on one and 4 minutes on the other, so there's not much point. And I couldn't be bothered to record one next because all we had to talk about was the England game, and the fact we didn't have a podcast meant we talked about everything exciting, at least, in the England game. So that basically covered the last 2 weeks. This is now, we're going to talk about Game Week 4, a preview onto Game Week 5, European things, even though half of the games probably had happened by the time I upload this on Wednesday. But once again, we are late on things, and I'm, as always, joined by Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
And today, quite bizarre.
Yeah, well,
What
I'm a very happy man,
Well, happy until we get to a certain game, a 6-goal thriller. In fact, the first game this season to have 6 goals, I think. Yeah, I think it is.
That's my way of saying shush.
Well,
Just start before they turn it off already.
okay, well, anyway, we're going to start straight off with the big game, the Manchester
If you have any
derby.
questions, please leave them in the comments down below.
I did forget about that, I'm not going to lie.
Yep, I remembered. Because it literally just occurred to me.
No, well, thank you, but please leave your comments in the description, in the comments down below. I say that every video, I'm sure. In the comments down below.
Yeah, but yeah, he says it.
Yeah, probably. And we can look into answer whoever decides to leave a comment in the next video. But, more importantly, the Manchester derby. The derby of all derbies happened. The most expensive derby. And it was good for 45 minutes. And then when I got home and watched the second 45 minutes, it was pretty shit. So, didn't really, see a lot of it. It ended up Manchester United 1, Man City 2. Goals from De Bruyne and Iheanacho quickly killed off Manchester United. And it looks good.
The fact Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored, good for FPL. And it was a good finish, in fairness. He got one back right before half-time. But in the end, it wasn't enough. I mean, in the end of the day, it's just Guardiola's good football that has beat another team. Not by a good defensive performance, but by outscoring them. Admittedly, they don't concede a lot, but I think it will get to the point where a team learns how to play against Guardiola's football, and teams go unstuck. But what did you make of the derby? It wasn't too thrilling the second half, but I suppose it was all right for a derby.
I didn't really get to watch it, to be honest. I had a football training session, but from what I could see from it did say like Man City dominated the game. Pep Guardiola beat Mourinho in the fashion you would have expected him to. I'm still not sure about Man United. I haven't been for most of the season. Although I think they'll do well, I think that they may become unstuck against the big teams. Because so far they've beaten the small teams. Everyone's like, oh, Man United back? No, they're not. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, I mean, Game Week 1. Game Week 1, I really did heap praise upon how Paul Pogba played. I thought if he played that the whole season, Man United are going to be unplayable because he was good defensively, he moved the ball well, was quick on his feet. But since that, he's really been non-existent, and there are a few surprising things. Looking back at the highlights of the first half and the whole of the second half that I watched, there are a few surprising things. 52nd minute, bearing in mind Man City only have 2 strikers, one of them is Iheanacho. Guardiola takes off Iheanacho for Fernando, which leaves them with no attackers, and every other, forward-thinking midfielder is one that will look to pass the ball rather than score. I mean, they could be on the goal line just passing it to each other, and no one will be like, I don't want to score, I don't like shooting, what is shooting? And it got to the point where Man United, were heaping players forward and they were getting caught on a counter constantly. It was really open. City always catching them on the counter. But the problem is because they have a lack of, goal-scoring talent there that usually will go for goals running forward. They took Iheanacho off, and they had, David Silva, Nolito, and Sterling running forward that all just seemed to want to pass to each other, and it just slowed down straight away. That's one negative for City. The other negative is Claudio Bravo was awful. I mean, he he could have had an easy punch, but he punched Stones instead, which allowed Ibrahimovic to score. I think he should have been sent off for the tackle on Rooney, personally. I mean, he miscontrolled it and didn't get anywhere near the ball. Studs up in Rooney. I mean, any other day, that's a red card. But alas, Man United got slightly unfortunate, but City again showing that they're good on the attack, but worrying, really, really worrying in the defence. And Bravo is no improvement on Caballero so far, looking at Seste lunchtime's performance. I mean, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights on Bravo, but he was quite atrocious.
Bring back John Hart.
Bring back John Hart. 95 rated Joe Hart. Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I was very, what's the word? I thought the signing of Bravo was peculiar and unnecessary. But, he's a good goalie, apparently, but much like many Barcelona goalkeepers, Victor Valdez in the past, they've always had good defences in front of them and have never really had to do much. And maybe Bravo could become unstuck. I mean, he might be able to use his feet, apparently, but can he actually save the ball? Guess we'll wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be different. I feel like City will be a different animal when Kompany gets back, if Kompany can stay fit, because we saw it last season. Kompany was unfit for the first few games. He came back, and for the first 6 he was back, I believe. He kept 6 clean sheets, and that says something about how Kompany can organise defence. I mean, I'd have credit for Stones' passing ability.
Kompany does have a massive influence on the defence, but I did hear that Otamendi apparently dominated Zlatan for most of the game.
Oh, Zlatan was
so I'm not sure if it's
game.
essential. Yeah, I don't think it's really a central defender's problem. To be honest, I don't really rate their fullbacks well.
Yeah.
I mean, Clichy is quick, but he's getting on a bit, and Zabaleta doesn't bring the same presence as he brought a few years ago.
He's. I feel like Zabaleta's a bit past that. He should be a squad player, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, really, if they wanted to invest in defenders, they should have been looking at fullbacks. But who are we to judge, Kurt? We're not the experts, are we?
We just chat shit on a podcast if I remember to upload it. But yeah, I think we've pretty much said about everything about Manchester United versus Manchester City. A few decent goals. City looked, destructive on the attack, and it highlights a bit of worrying features in Manchester United's play. And I'm still not quite sure as to why Smalling hasn't come back into the team yet.
Yeah, it is a bit peculiar, isn't it?
I don't really get that. I mean, as much as I can see Blind's doing well as passing defender, but he's not a defender. He's not a centre-back.
I would feel. I don't really care, but Man United should feel a lot safer with Smalling at the back. I mean, he was in Team of the Season last year, and I'm not just talking about, of course, the EA Team of the Season. I mean, in general, he was in the Premier League Team of the Season.
Yeah, he was.
Surely,
he's probably England's best centre back as well.
Starting place. Yeah, no, that's for sure.
But we've covered everything about Man United versus Man City, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, I would say so.
There's not really much else.
There's not really a lot left to cover in that game. I mean, it's a 2-1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's not really much else we can say on it. I mean, talking about 2-1s, we'll move on to the 3 o'clocks. Arsenal beat Southampton 2-1. Koscielny. Well, first of all, Czech tried to help Southampton.
Koscielny, acrobatic bicycle kick.
Yeah, and I realised in the 95th minute that earned me about 20 quid because I had bets on different goal scorers, and I had a bet on Cazorla to score at any time, and also Snodgrass. I saw Cazorla scored a penalty, I think, in the 93rd or 94th minute.
Yeah, 95th minute.
Oh, 95th minute, and Snodgrass also got a really late goal. So that last minute won me quite a bit of money. Huh?
Good old Snodders.
Good old Snodders. I wouldn't look at any of the games really being entertaining at 3 o'clock. We're looking at the moment. Bournemouth in a really entertaining game with West Brom. I say that with sarcasm. 1-0.
When I saw it went 1-0 to Bournemouth, I was like, oh, well, that's the end of the game. They might as well leave now.
Just throwing in the towel. Tony Pulis starts throwing towels at the ref. Like, ref, fucking see the towel.
I was very happy though to see that Bournemouth did win, because I feel like they deserve to stay up another year.
Yeah, it will be tough for them this year, but I feel like they look good.
Yeah.
Burnley won.
I mean, there's so many teams down there in the relegation battle.
Exactly, they will be soon at least. Burnley won, Hull won. West Brom are actually down there, as I say. West Brom are looking bad at the moment. But Burnley Hull was 1-1. Stephen Defoe, who I think we both agreed saying it could be a good signing, one of the best for Burnley.
Great signing.
And he's really looks good so far. I mean, looking at his stats, he got an assist in a Liverpool game. He didn't really do much in the Chelsea defeat, but then they are going away at Stamford Bridge. But also scored quite a vital goal against Hull as well. And every minute he was on the pitch, they didn't score. Didn't concede a goal, so that's looking good for them. Burnley and Hull, I think, might just survive. Hull, maybe a bit worrying. But did you know Hull signed like 6 players in the last 2 days of the window? Did not change one player from their starting 11.
Yeah, I did see that. It's a bit weird.
I'm not...
Mike Phelan kept faith. But they were a lot of young Man U players, don't forget, the signings they made.
Yeah, I'm more thinking about you got a winger, Klukas, who's a winger, and you've signed in the midfield, you've got, let's just put it in there, Ryan Mason, who could easily get into the first team. You've got Marcus Henriksen, who I think could easily get into the first team. And they were drops. You're looking at up front, I mean, Will Keane has looked good. You've also got Mbakani, but none of them really featured at all. So, but they still got a draw, I suppose. They still got a draw, even though it was late. Shock of the day, at 3 o'clock at least. Stoke lost 4-0.
Crystal Palace 2, Middlesbrough.
That was quite a
Benteke
shock in
scored.
fairness. Because I didn't see Benteke scoring. I didn't see Zaza. I keep on saying, I've recorded 2 videos today, and in both videos I've said Zaza instead of Zaha.
Oh, yeah, no,
reason.
I'm getting really confused. I say I'm getting really confused. Of course, I know the difference between the two. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, like, I get confused where it's like, oh, and it's Zaha. Oh. Like, when they just say it wrong for a few seconds. Like, well, I just don't remember signing Zaha.
Yeah, well, he hasn't looked good so far. I mean, how many goals has he scored? Exactly. But anyway, moving on before I...
Sorry, who are we talking about there? Is my Zaha or Zaza? Because I don't know if I've ever scored.
Zaza got a goal and assist in their 2-1 win against Middlesbrough.
Oh. He's not bad then,
he
is
had
he?
quite a good game. I mean, Alan Pardew had come out and said he wanted a bid close in the region of 50 million for Zaha, so that means that Zaha's never leaving Crystal Palace while Alan Pardew's there. But for some reason, he's valued at 50 million. But yeah, Crystal Palace did shock them. I had on my accumulator as Middlesbrough to win. I thought, oh, bollocks, I bet that's the only one I've lost. Turns out, in my 8-fold accumulator, I got one team correct. So it didn't really matter in the end anyway. I only lost £5. And then Stoke versus Spurs was the only one I got right, and I think Spurs showed that they can actually kick a ball quite well, and Stoke showed that they can actually kick a ball quite shit, and they got really beaten up.
About bloody time. About bloody time that Spurs actually did something. Jesus Christ.
I mean, in the same game,
Son
Eriksen
pulling out
did
some
something,
performances.
Son did something, Ali did something, and Kane did something in the same game.
Yeah, I mean, Son got 2 goals and an assist, Eriksen with 2 assists, and Kane and Dele Alli finally scored. So maybe it's a return for Tottenham. Don't know who they've got next week. We'll find that out very shortly for you.
Best of all, they've got Moussa Dembele coming back.
Oh, that's a big one.
And that means that Harry Kane can finally start scoring again.
About time. He won't be able to play a CDM striker anymore.
And
Doesn't actually
finally,
happen.
the last 3 o'clock of the day, we're going to get
We
onto...
don't actually need to talk about this one, do we?
We are going... Yeah, I was going to do it at the end, but I'll let you off now. West Ham at the London grounds. Oh my goodness, what a stadium. West Ham fans are loving it. Antonio with 2 goals.
Antonio's loving it.
Antonio is really,
4
really
goals
loving
in
it.
4 games.
That is not bad at all. I'll tell you what, Pyatt is loving those cheeky Rabona assists. That was a dirty
Troy
assist.
Deeney isn't.
Oh no, Troy Deeney isn't at all really. But in fairness, he did score, which I'll get round to in a sec. But West Ham started off really well, and all of a sudden it capitulated. They scored 1 goal by Carlo, I believe, and then a mistake between Collins and Adrian, which could see the return of Ogbonna and Randolph for next game, as they both seem to not know the same language as each other. Deeney, might I say, again, credit where credit's due, fantastic finish. And the second half, West Ham just fell to shit, really.
Yeah,
Capoue scored, which was good for my fantasy team. Holibas scored.
me too.
And then it was probably Adrian should have done better of Holibas's one, so not the best of game from West Ham's defence, and especially not the West Ham keeper. But passing over to the West Ham fan, what did you make of things?
I don't think an utter disgrace best describes the performance that happened. I mean, I was watching. I say I was watching it. I wasn't watching it. So just after I finished football, it was just getting up to about half time. It was actually about 10 minutes gone by the time we got to Macca's. For the after game healthy meal. By this time it was 2-0. I was really happy. I ordered my food. Get my food. I start laughing because Igalo's just scored. I'm like 2-1. Oh, sure. Typical West. 2 minutes later, I haven't even finished my sentence yet. 2-2. 2-2. And I'm like, same old West Ham. Even tweeted it. You can check that. And then when we went 3-2 down, I had that sarcastic laugh of ha ha ha, and then when it went to 4-2, utter depression. Because all of a sudden, this is something that a West Ham fan goes through from time to time. You've realised that you're not getting back into the game, and even though we complain about all our missing players and everything, that's bullshit. Payet and Lanzini and Antonio, the three midfield players that we've wanted all season, are playing together for the first time, and we get utterly annihilated. Zaza playing up front. He got a yellow card. Apparently, he could have got sent off. I mean, is he a bloody thug? I'd rather have Balotelli.
Oh Christ!
Just because he would have scored in his debut, he's got a habit for that. And then, I've just heard the defence fell to shit. I mean, why are we not playing Ogbonna? Ogbonna last season was by far our best centre-back. And yet this season he's just been non-existent in the side. And then, of course, Randolph, who had a magnificent end to last season, has not been given the chance that he deserves. So next weekend, Bilic, I know you're listening to me, Randolph is in goal, and you're going to put Ogbonna and Collins at the back, because
Right.
Winston. No, Ogbonna and Reed. Collins was actually at the fault for 2 of the goals. Yeah, we'll go the old centre-back partnership, and I don't care if Aaron Cresswell's injured. You're playing him at left back. You're playing him at left back. But it was a disgrace. I was very pissed off. The only thing I took from the game, apart from the Rabana assist, was Antonio. I think he's not top goal scorer, but he's up there, top 2, top 3.
He is joint at the moment, I believe, with Zlatan. And I can't think who else.
Well, we got the top goal scorer in the league, and he ain't even a striker, lads. I mean, come on.
Costa, that's the other one.
Well,
Costa
no
as well.
one cares about Diego Costa, do they?
I would like to address though West Ham. I think, have you seen pictures of the stadium right after full time?
What part of it?
The empty part.
I mean, the empty part, yeah. I mean, where the fans that aren't fans are leaving. There's
Yeah.
that. That's very. That angers me, because I'm someone that would want to go every single week to West Ham, but then you're getting these fans that aren't West Ham fans leaving before full time, because all they want to do is watch a game of football, but they don't provide the same atmosphere. And I miss Upton Park. I miss Upton Park. I mean, the way that the stadium's been set up is all wrong. There's no fan segregation, which is, of course, a massive issue, especially in, not one of the most renowned London derbies, but West Ham Watford is a London derby nevertheless. But it's just, there's no togetherness of the West Ham fans. You used to have the Bobby Moore stand where all the season ticket holders would be, and they would just sing their heart out for 90 minutes. But now it's all just spread around the stadium, and it's just creating no atmosphere.
I think
I also think
the
that
commentator said, or someone said, I can't remember who, that it's very much turning into the Highbury Emirates transition that Arsenal have had.
Yeah.
Worryingly for you, at least.
Yep. Yeah, and it could end up being like that, which, West Ham's a team that prides themselves on their atmosphere and grounds, and if we're going to have no atmosphere, what's the point of moving to this big new stadium? Because West Ham pride themselves on grinding out results because of the fans' atmosphere sometimes. I also think that it's a disgrace to the fact that we've got untrained security guards within the ground trying to deal with these situations that they're clearly not prepared for.
Yes, that's very true.
You've got fans fighting each other. The police have apparently refused to actually go into the stadium and deal with it themselves. So I just don't know. I don't know what to say, but I do think that something really needs to be sorted out, and the chairmen have got a lot on their plate to deal with. The manager has a lot on his plate, and the players have a high expectation on their shoulders. Really, right now, I would not want anything to do with the West Ham Football Club, but I'm a supporter, so I have to.
Through thick and through thin, I suppose.
Yep, I don't even... I'll support West Ham even if they're in League Two.
Very much the same with me, I'd like to add.
Oh, you support West Ham even if League Two?
Of course,
Jesus.
of course. That time I can say I'm not a glory hunter, so I can go down to League Two and be like, yes. But I think that's pretty much summed up everything on the West Ham game.
I think I've summed up West Ham in general at the moment, you know. If you want weeks of disappointment, come and support West Ham with me. I might be going to the Accrington Stanley game, because it's only £10 a ticket, and, well, there's going to be loads of tickets, so why not?
I mean, chances are you could probably just go in now at half time anyway, because everyone would have left.
Yeah. Got to pay a fiver for half a ticket. Yeah, thank you. Jeez.
But I think I'll calm you down for a bit, and I'll move off and on to Liverpool versus Leicester, where again, you know, we've seen Liverpool's attack show that it can be one of the deadliest in the league, and another game where we've seen Leicester showing, you know, and I think
how shit they are.
I think it shows that when a lot of people said, "Oh, why have you put Chelsea to go first?" You know, Kante's I've always said Kante is a huge player, and I think Chelsea are reaping the rewards of it. Leicester, however, are not, and they are really struggling without him. Marty is just you bring him on for. It's sort of like when you bring on Fernando for Iheanacho in the Manchester derby. That is what you go for with Amati, and Mendy is injured, due to come back next week, but Leicester look bad. They look really bad.
That's because they're not a good side, Kurt.
Ouch.
Said it from day one. And they will finish in the bottom half of the table, probably joined by West Ham.
Wow.
So, I'm not just being biased here.
Wow.
If you play shit, you end up playing shit. Finishing shit, even.
Holy Jesus.
I reckon Jamie Vardy may leave and Mahrez in the winter window if things stay as they are.
You think that?
Yeah, there's a chance. Just like I also think that Payet could leave if things stay like this. So I'm not very optimistic man at the moment with West Ham, and I vent that anger out on Leicester, just like I did last season.
Well, that pretty much sums that up.
Liverpool are going to win the league now.
Liverpool are going to win the league until they lose 2-0 to someone like Hull.
You'll hear that soon. Liverpool
When
will win the league.
When do they play Hull? Let's have a look at that. Oh, in game week 6. It's only game week 5 coming up.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. But no. Liverpool, again, have showed that when they want to play, they can play. But it's whether they can do that every game and not concede goals. I mean, in fairness, they would have had a clean sheet if Lucas Leiva would have thought, you know what, Jamie, I feel bad for you, and kicked it to him and gave him open goal. But that's what I need to say on that. We've basically covered everything. I mean, your little rant on Leicester has covered it, also tying in West Ham somehow with that.
I can tie West Ham into anything.
But I won't let you talk about West Ham anymore. We've done with West Ham. We need to accept what is lost, which is West Ham, and move on to Swansea versus Chelsea, where once again, I'll tell you what. When it comes to a thing called people watching, I think the most entertaining yet irritating yet
Leroy Fer.
the number one player you should do it on is Diego Costa. I would buy, if a ticket was like a tenner, I would buy a ticket, give him bookings out and just watch Diego Costa. He's such a fascinating player for all the wrong reasons. He doesn't play the game, there's no nice heart in it. There's no niceties in it. He plays the game, to try and get people aggravated. That's basically his game. He'll aggravate people and then use that against them when they're making rash challenges and they're coming in. He'll play on that. He'll, battle them, and he's a strong lad. He'll beat a lot of them and get the ball easily into the back of the net. And that's exactly what he did against Swansea. He picked, a weak link, which he saw as Jordi Amat. I mean, for some reason, Swansea went 5 at the back and just gave the ball straight back to them. But he picked the weak link in Jordi Amat. He just bullied Amat. Admittedly, he gets a yellow card, but it's another game where it's like, should Diego Costa be sent off? But it's another game where you think Diego Costa has, unfortunately, for the good spirit in the game, played the defence very, very well and has come out with 2 goals. One very fortunate goal, but 2 goals nonetheless. But Chelsea, I feel like were unfair. It was a bit harsh on them to lose that game. Did you see it?
They didn't lose the game.
To draw the game, sorry, not win.
All right. No, I was at Fort Park. I've not done very well this week on my football.
No.
I'm missed the majority of the football this
I've
week.
picked the wrong person to come on this podcast. It's like, what do you think of this game? I don't know. I have nothing to say.
I don't have nothing to say. I did think that Chelsea had almost completely screwed it up for a good sort of 20 minutes, when Swansea decided that they were going to score 2 goals. Well, I say Chelsea decided to loan 2 goals to Swansea.
Well, it was Mr. It started off quite well for Chelsea. They played really well. They got the first goal. Costa scored. It sort of went dry for a bit, and sometime in the second half, Hazard lost his footing, and for some reason, Chelsea had pretty much every player forward. They knocked the ball forward, and no word of a lie. Have you seen the highlights of this game though?
I did see the Gary Cahill thing.
Well, I want you now,
and Courtois' awful. Okay, right. What was Courtois thinking?
Right, just to give you some background information, Chelsea fans, my brother said from all the angles he saw, he thought Courtois got the ball. This is no, he got nowhere near the ball. I mean, in all he had to do was run back into the goal. By the time the player has got the ball under control and is ready to shoot, he's not going to score from there. He's got to have
it had gone out wide.
Exactly.
And there was nothing that was threatening about the attack at the point where he made the challenge.
Exactly. And
the only threat was that he wasn't in the goal.
And very fortunately for him, this was about this time last year when Chelsea played against Swansea, and it was about this time last year when Courtois got himself sent off against Swansea, and because of the angle of the camera, when I saw that come in, I thought, no, is that outside the box? And immediately I thought it was outside the box, and I thought, no way are we seeing Chelsea's first game against Swansea, and we're going to see another, Courtois red card. Fortunately for him, it was inside the area, and that's where the thing I now know as the double jeopardy rule, which I didn't know up until a few days ago,
about to say about that,
came into play, because last season, that's a straight red card. You fly kick someone, you scissor kick them, down onto the ground and twisted their ankles around yours. It's quite a bad tackle, but it's double jeopardy rule, so he's given a yellow card. And I feel like that was a bit unfair on Chelsea because they played quite well. Yeah, they shoved too many men forward, but Courtois decided he was, Jackie Chan for some reason. And the second goal, I'm not sure how the referee missed this, but Leroy Fer just thought, you know what, kick Cahill in the back of the leg. Cahill goes down, sort of like, are you going to give anything? And all 3 of the officials are just like, nah, mate, just carry on. Leroy Fer somehow squeezes the ball in. Costa in the end grabs a nice overhead kick. He overhead kicked it. It was probably going in anyway, but smacked off the head of someone and went in. And it ended 2-2. But Chelsea, Hazard went to the last season. Hazard was awful. Didn't really look like he was going to complete anything. And that's all I can say, really. Chelsea were partially the architects of their own downfall, but it was very, very harsh on them with the Leroy Fer goal, because that was a blatant foul and that should have been given. And if Cahill would have rolled around on the floor, that would have been a free kick. He didn't, because he's an honest player. He got back up, tried to catch up, couldn't do it, and that's why Chelsea drew.
Yeah, I was at Fort Park with 2 Chelsea fans, and it's quite amusing for me, of course. after having West Ham been playing awful the day before and getting abuse about that. But I was enjoying it. I won't lie. I was enjoying every second of Swansea winning. However, they did not in the end, and Chelsea got lucky. And all I can say is, Costa shouldn't have been on the pitch because he should have been sent off in the West Ham game. And you thought I couldn't bring him back into it.
Well, that aside, we'll quickly move on to Sunderland versus Everton, where for half of the game it was very boring, and the other half, the reincarnation of God, Romelu Lukaku himself. First goal in 13 games, and he thought, you know what, I want more. So he scored 2 more, just for bants.
Just because he felt like it.
Exactly, and I think the thing is that we've seen Lukaku. I think he will be back now. Looking at Everton's fixtures coming up, they do look really appetising. So for FPL, I'd say get Lukaku in, because his price is going to rise, and he's definitely looking like he's going to score a few goals. However, it was only against Sunderland. That being said, Barkley looks worryingly bad in that game. We've seen Hazard, who's one of the best form players so far this season, play really bad. Barkley taken up half time. Not sure whether there's a knock or anything, but he played atrociously in the first half, giving the ball away constantly. It wasn't good, but luckily the players that played around him played very well. And I tell you what, I said it right at the start, and I think you were a bit sceptical on it. Idrissa Gueye looks like a quality signing. He has had a flawless start to the season, an assist to get things up to par this game.
And Balassi played off 29 million of his 30 million transfer as well, getting an assist.
That is very true. He's only got 1 million to go.
Yeah. No, I've been very sceptical of is his name Idrissa Gueye?
Idrissa Gueye, yeah.
Just because I didn't think he did a lot last year for Aston Villa, and I didn't think he'd do a lot for Everton, but maybe a better players around him, he will perform better. Maybe he's one of them, as I like to call him. But Lukaku, it's good to see you back, mate. Good to see you back.
Yeah, we have missed you here in the Let's Talk podcast. So it's
we
good
love
to see
Lukaku.
you listening again.
Yeah, tuning in, listening to our advice.
But,
don't play shit.
But that's pretty much the game week 4 done. We've spent about just over half
6
an hour on it.
hours.
That's not 6 hours on a West Ham game. But I think we'll look ahead to next game week. Then we'll discuss Europe after that.
Right. So the fixtures for the next game week, we got Chelsea-Liverpool on the Friday. That's going to be a cracker. Hull versus Arsenal. It's going to be all right. Leicester-Burnley. Burnley 6, Leicester 0. Manchester City versus Bournemouth. I mean, I don't even need to say words for that. West Brom 0, West Ham 0. Everton Middlesbrough. And then, after having really crap Sundays, we've got 4 games this Sunday. We've got the best team in the country, Watford, facing Manchester United at 12 o'clock. We've got Crystal Palace Stoke. That sounds like an absolute Stephen Corker of a match. We've got Southampton versus Swansea. And to finish it all off, Harry Kane versus Jordan Pickford. Sorry, did I take the limelight from you there?
I don't mind. You did it very well. Should be a feature every week.
Yeah, I just interrupt you mid-sentence and say, we start off with.
But I have to admit, sitting down and watching the football this Sunday, you got a cracker of a game from the Championship. To be fair, it's not a
I
game.
did see that Henry Lansbury's goal. Good old man.
Well, just to sidetrack into the Championship quickly, I can't remember his name, but I think it might have been Pereira or something. They had some guy they had on loan from Benfica, Porto, something like that. He had this magnificent bit of skill, played through Lansbury, who scored. He then celebrated, went a bit wild, was fist bumping with the crowd, and the referee sent him off. So was there any need for that?
Is that why he got sent off?
He got sent off for over extravagant celebrations, I believe.
Right, because I got really confused because it's like he got booked in the 89th minute and then sent off in the 91st, and I I can't believe I was like, oh, some guy called Pereira just got sent off 2 bookings in 2 minutes. It's like, what can he have done?
I think the first booking was just this typical cynical foul. They were attacking. He tripped them up and he was like, "I'll take that. I fucked you over, prick."
It's Italian of him.
Very Italian of him, yeah. And the second booking, because he had this, it was if you've seen the goal, if you haven't seen the goal, then watch the goal. But it was a magnificent run. Literally, it was basically watching like Lionel Messi in the Championship. He was untouchable. Everyone tried to get him, but
I did see the goal.
It was fantastic run. But then the referee sent him off. I think there's no need for that. He's showing passion. You don't want to stop players from doing that. I mean, the game already is ruined by money. We don't want to stop the last bit of passion that players
Actually,
have.
I saw a quote the other day, and the game's ruined by refs. We can get onto that in a minute.
Well, just reviewing. Just to quickly get off the game week 5 then. Not really many games jump out at me. I mean, I was looking at fixtures to watch for the preview.
Chelsea Liverpool.
And Chelsea Liverpool was one.
Man City Bournemouth, get in your Man City striker. I hear Nacho.
I hear a Nacho. Nacho. But that's it. I mean, I'm really looking forward to watching the highlights of West Brom versus West Ham. In fact, we just watched them now. I was just watching paint dry.
Yeah.
But, let's get on to what you were talking about.
So I saw this on Twitter the other day, and this is a statement from ex-Premier League referee Mark Halsey. I don't know if you've heard this, Kurt, but I'm going to read it out to you now. I've got it in front of me. I've been in that situation when I've seen an incident and I've been told to say I haven't seen it. To be fair to the FA, it's not them. It comes from within the PGMOL, Professional Game Match Officials Limited. It doesn't stop there. We've been told to give a certain amount of corners or throw-ins, fouls, bookings, etc. The Premier League is rife with spot fixing and bias towards certain clubs from the FA. Every referee in the Premier League could be in front of a court one day soon.
Hashtag jail Diego Costa.
That's
I think that came
not
out,
what I was getting out of this.
That came out in relation to the Aguero Reed thing, didn't it?
I'm not sure if that's the Aguero Reed thing or if this was a penalty that was given to Sugar. Who was it? I can't remember who the penalty was given to, but they gave a penalty when it was clearly not a penalty, and it's sort of, this is where it's all come out from. And if this is true, I think it's absolutely disgusting.
And it explains why Diego Costa hasn't had any red cards.
It would also explain why West Ham took 9 months to get a penalty last season. That's a fact as well.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I mean, of course, I saw a response to that. They have, of course,
pretty sure the Sport Bible said it. Yeah. Of course they've denied it because they're not going to admit it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they admit it, it's all of a sudden, there's investigations into the Premier League, everyone at the FAs, then it's going to be a whole sort of FIFA thing all over again, where everyone's under investigation for corruption, people will get arrested, blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
So
there is that.
Maybe there will be an investigation, but I doubt anything like a little tweet will confirm anything, because anyone could have photoshopped that, yes, but if he has said it, there's got to be investigations.
That is very, very true, and I think you've covered that pretty well. I mean, if it is there, then it's...
Just call me a reporter. Sky Sports, I'm free.
Joe. And we can go live here on Deadline Day to reporter Joe. Joe, what you got for us?
Well, Jim, as you can see on the screen in front of you, I just signed someone on Ultimate Team for 2K. His name is...
We're going to have to cut communications there because a purple dildo has entered the ear of our reporter. but I think we should move on to Europe now, rather than I'm going to get noise complaints now saying, please can you stop shouting? There's a purple dildo entering the reporters. Anyway, moving on. Champions League Tuesday, which is already gone, so you're going to see how bad we've got things wrong. Let's talk about the British teams. First of all, PSG Arsenal.
Really interesting game, I think. Be interesting to see how good PSG are without Zlatan.
Without David Luiz, they've looked worrying without their manager. I'd think it could. I have to admit, I've looked at odds. Bet365. I've got a draw no bet Arsenal to win thing, which means if it's a draw, it doesn't count. And Arsenal, if I bet 10, I've got a 30 quid back for it. And I think that's not bad because I do think they'll stun PSG here because they've not really got much to go on. I mean, Ben Arthur signed, yeah, but PSG haven't been romping home the way they had last season. So I think Arsenal could get a good result here, but again, it's Arsenal we're talking about. They'll do things the hard way, which means win against PSG, lose against Basel, draw against Ludogorets, then lose against Ludogorets, and then win the last 2 games to scrape through in second, and then lose in the last 16.
Yeah, sounds pretty
So now
normal.
we don't need to talk about Arsenal in Europe ever again on this podcast because we've summed it up right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I think it's going to be a good game. I do think it's going to be, if I stay awake, that is. I mean, I was surviving on energy drinks at work today, so I think I'll be surviving on energy drinks tomorrow. I'm going to go over to the next English team, then we'll move on to a quite interesting game. Manchester City versus Borussia Mönchengladbach.
It's another interesting game. I think Man City might edge it, just because, of course, Guardiola's just come from the German league. He's going to know what Gladbach are like, but I think that Man City have better players than Gladbach, so it will be interesting, but I do think that Man City will edge it. Yeah,
It also is worth noting that Aguero is eligible to play because it's a European competition, and his ban was for the English competitions only, so he can play in Europe fine.
Oh,
Which is a huge thing swinging in City's favour.
that's massive.
But I have to admit, looking at odds, I think Manchester City to score and Manchester City to win and both teams to score is a good little market. That's also on my accumulator, but I think Man City will win that quite easily. Personally, I think Aguero will romp home because he doesn't need. You don't need to really think, oh, we need to play Aguero, but we'll play him for 50 minutes, then take him off to rest him for the weekend. He can't play at the weekend, so might as well just go fucking ham and leave him on for 90 minutes. That's he breaks his leg,
why not.
of course. But yeah, I see Man City winning that quite easily. Really. I think there's much else to go on. Who else is in their group? Well, another British team actually, which is a swift move on, and another a Spanish team, which is Barcelona versus Celtic. Celtic travel to the Nou Camp. I'm worried for Celtic.
Yeah. I mean,
think if they had still had Neil Lennon as their manager, I mean, I loved Neil Lennon. He was so into his job. And every time Barcelona played against Celtic under Neil Lennon, it was just, they could have like 10% possession and they would still manage to win. And they had players like Samaras who would actually perform. But no, I think Celtic have got a chance, but unfortunately Rodgers is the manager, so it's looking unlikely for me.
I don't think that Celtic have a chance. I think that Suarez is going to eat them for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this could be a romp, absolute demolition of Scottish football to the hands of Luis Suarez. I mean, I saw something earlier that was Brendan Rodgers thinks that Suarez is a beautiful man.
I saw that. I thought, what? You just trying to make him blush a bit so he doesn't play very well.
Yeah.
Just the whole game, Suarez is just looking at Rodgers like, yeah, meet me in locker
How
room
you
5
doing?
minutes. I'll get a red card and I'll see you for an early bath. Both of us in the ice bath. I'll warm you up, huddle together. That got really weird. I apologise to everyone. I really do apologise.
Yeah, but Barcelona have basically already won that, so if you want to win 2p on an accumulator, put Barcelona on there.
Yeah, they are ridiculous. They're not the lowest odds, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure Rostov.
Yeah, Bayern Munich have got. I think Rostov to win is you get. I think if you put £1 on, you get like 35 quid back, and Celtic you get about 20.
Oh.
But just saying, Bayern Munich to win both halves. If you put 10 quid on, you get 15 back. And Bayern Munich,
Really?
It's really well. At least on Bet365, really good odds on that.
Wow.
And that is also on my accumulator.
I don't want to put more money on.
Yeah, that is I've got 30 quid left. So
I've got
need to find
£10 as a free bet for my deposit thing, 100% deposit thing with Bet365 today, and won't let me put it on any game, so I don't know what's going on.
But other games, Basel versus Ludogorets, I have no fucking idea what happens in that one. I don't know about any of the two teams.
Basel will win.
But I think Basel are quite clear. I think if any team doesn't win against Ludogorets, then they should be barred from the competition, like they've barred Platini.
Like Chelsea should have.
Yeah, like Chelsea should have. They were like, you know what, Chelsea, we don't want you this
Oh, wait,
year.
no, they were this season, weren't they?
Well, what?
They were barred from the competition this season.
Yeah, finishing 7th.
Because they didn't qualify.
Whee!
But tomorrow's the interesting games.
Tomorrow is very interesting games.
Leicester will finally show how good they are in the Champions League by losing.
I have to
So,
admit, both teams
don't
to
even
score on Leicester and Club Brugge is a good looks good as well.
Bloody Club Brugge. If they lose to Club Brugge, my point is proven, and I expect in the comments down below you all to say, "Hail Joe."
But worrying. Well, a good thing for Leicester is that I think Slimani might play, and he is he may not do it in the Premier League, but he's got goals playing against teams like Club Brugge or around that standard, so he really could romp home in the Champions League.
Oh, good. I'm excited now.
And the return.
I think I could score goals against Club Brugge.
The return of Tottenham versus Monaco.
That'll be a good game. I think Tottenham should win. They should win. Because Monaco's a bit of a weird team, I think. I don't really know what's like. Got this massive money thing, but what have they actually done with their money? They had James Rodriguez, sold him. They had Falcao, sold him.
I think he's back there now, isn't he?
They didn't sell Falcao, Joe. Idiot. I don't get them. They make no sense. Why do they exist?
It's also worth noting that Tottenham are not going to be playing at White Hart Lane this season for the Champions League. They are in fact playing at Wembley.
What?
They're playing at Wembley for the Champions League.
Why?
Not too sure, really. I don't really know the reason. I just know I remember seeing it in Marback and thinking, you know what? They're playing Wembley for Champions League.
Why? That makes no sense. It's like West Ham playing at the Olympics. Oh.
I see what you did there.
Oh, I didn't know that. It makes no sense really because, I mean, I know that they're playing their next season, I believe.
Yeah, well, if they renovate or build a new stadium, whatever.
But why can't they play at White Hart Lane in the Champions League?
Not too sure, really. I have no idea.
Well, get your answers for next week.
I'll try my
It's your
hardest.
homework.
I'll try my hardest.
Good.
But yeah, that's.
FIFA 17 demo's out.
Is it?
Just thought you might like to know.
I might play
Yeah.
it. I might not. I need a shower. I mean, I've literally got sweat dripping off me in all areas.
I'm feeling rather sweaty right now.
Yeah, exactly. I had to not record with Facecam earlier, hence the reason why I'm not recording Facecam now, because I can't wear a shirt in the room I'm recording in. I've got every window open I can, and it's still too hot.
I am wearing a shirt, in case anyone's interested. In me wearing a shirt, that sounded wrong. Anyway, I think it's all over now.
My nipples are erect.
Oh, great.
I did tell you I was going to be doing that this podcast.
It's all over!
Like CM Punk's dream of actually being
Yeah,
a
I was
real
literally
fighter.
about to say that. Jesus Christ. What an embarrassment.
126 seconds or something. It's like, I can't do it no more. I tap out.
Yes. Well, that's why wrestlers can't fight in UFC.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you could say Brock Lesnar, but he's actually a UFC fighter, in my opinion, not a wrestler. Anyway, let's move on, because this is a football podcast.
I don't think we've got anything else to talk about, really. FPL.
No, exactly. That's why we're trying to say bye.
Look at look at a few players that are going to be transferred in loads for me this week. I've used my wild card, so I've just literally stuck in every player I think will go up. So I've got Koscielny in there, I've got Heaton in there, I've got Galloway in there, I've got Antonio in there, I've got Costa and Lukaku, because I know in the end they're going to increase in price. So yeah, get Lukaku in. That's all I can say. Just get Lukaku in.
I'm going to be making my transfers in a minute. So my preview will be up very soon.
Well,
on the Tuesday.
It's about fucking time, mate. Took you
What do you mean?
fucking time.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, in fact, my
I
preview
only
isn't
could have
up.
done it today.
My preview isn't up yet. But I would like to end on one note, which is, have you seen the news about a footballer called Daniel Wilkinson?
Yeah, he collapsed and died, didn't he, on the pitch?
Non-league player
Non-league.
collapsed and died on Monday, which is it's very sad. I mean, it could spark a debate of, you know, whatever the defibrillators and the stuff that Fabrice Nwamba and help save his life, but it's non-league football, unfortunately, and that's one of the unfortunate things that happened. But yeah, it's a sad loss. I mean, no one likes to see a footballer of any sort of standard, whether they're the best in the world or down in non-league, lose their life. But it's unfortunate in the way it happened as well. So yeah, that's a rather,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. That's another unfortunate note. Former Hull City player, worth noting,
Yeah.
or Hull City youngster, I should say. But yeah, it's a sad
It's very
note.
sad.
I wanted to pay tribute quickly, and that is about that. I think that's covered everything. Oh, here we go. One last thing to end on, actually. Stoke City, Mark Hughes charged with misconduct after Tottenham defeat.
Why did he get sent to the stands?
I'm not sure. Hughes was sent to the stands by referee Anthony Taylor shortly before Spurs' 41st minute opener after reacting angrily to what he thought was a foul on John Walters and a yellow card given to Marko Arnautovic for diving.
Oh,
He just lobbed his
fair
sheep
enough.
at the referee. He's like, yeah, fucking come here, mate. I'll lob my
Deserved
sheep
it
at
then,
you.
didn't he?
Yeah, no need to act like that, Mark Hughes. Anyway, that's pretty much it. And we've been talking for almost now.
6
52
years.
minutes. 6 years. It was 6 years last few minutes ago.
6 years.
6 years. But anyway, thank you all
6
for
years.
listening again if you've got this far. 6 years. And yeah, thank you for listening for 6 years. If you've played this over and over again, then I'm sorry you've had to listen to us. But yeah,
I'm entertaining, at least.
at least there's that. At least you're as entertaining, I suppose.
And sarcastic. Anyway.
I'm going to finish off. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. We'll be back.
See ya!
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Is that too early?
Very much too early. We might be back next week. It all depends on timings and also depends on what happens. If it's a very boring week, then I doubt I'm going to be bothered to sit with my shirt off for an hour, twiddling my nipples, recording. Because
He's lying. He's
boiling.
going to do it anyway. He always does
I'm
it.
going to do it anyway. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in next week or any of my videos. New series coming out this week on Friday, so stay tuned for that. But thank you for watching, everyone.
See ya!
Yeah, goodbye.